guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome! Raw review for the viewers at home today on an all-new high stimulant pre-workout supplement from our good friends at Finaflex. It is, of course, Finaflex Stimul8 in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. In fact, before we do that, give me 2 seconds because I do need to specify for those of you watching this raw review that this raw review is on the international version of this here Stimul8 pre-workout. It is not the US version, it's completely different, as you're about to find out. So this is the raw review on the version we have here in Australia, which is the international version of Finaflex Stimul8. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's gonna do. That nutritional information panel ain't gonna get it done. We're about to go balls deep in this here Finaflex Stimul8. Luckily, got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. Starting from the top, Dilip, go ahead and throw up that nutritional information panel so the viewers can play along at home. Starting from the top, serving size 1 scoop, 10.3 grams. Got yourself about 30 of them 10.3 gram 1 scoop bitches in one of these Finaflex Stimul8 bitches. In terms of what the 10.3 grams is made up of, Finaflex have been fortunate enough in the international version, the Australian version, to be completely open and honest with exactly what's in this product and the exact amount. So we can do a quick summation, add up all of these active ingredients. There's 13 of them in total. And we've quickly discovered we've got 7.41 grams of active ingredients in a 10.3 gram serving size, 10.3 gram scoop. So 72% active ingredients, 28% flavors and sweeteners. They do not use artificial colors. It says it right here on the label. No artificial colors. So 28% flavors and sweeteners. That is really good for a pre-workout supplement. To see 72% active ingredients is just absolutely delicious. In terms of what those 72% active ingredients are made up of, starting from the top, and viewers at home, I gotta say, you better buckle yourselves the in, man, because we're about to go through 13 active ingredients. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't think I've seen a pre-workout with 13 active ingredients in it before. This could be some sort of record. It's definitely gonna be a long ass raw review. Starting from the top. And we're gonna go through this first column here. This is the average quantity per serving. The other columns, we're gonna pay attention to that one. Starting from the top, beta-alanine in a 3,200 milligram dose. Beta-alanine, of course, increases the concentration of carnosine in muscles, which in turn buffers the buildup of fatigue toxins such as lactic acid, hydrogen ions, of course. The net effect of beta-alanine is it's gonna increase muscular endurance. It's gonna help you train harder for longer, stimulate more muscle growth. The clinical dose, the most effective, efficacious dose of beta-alanine is 3,200 milligrams, and in this here Finaflex Stimul8, they've hit that nail on the head, 3,200 milligrams per scoop. Moving right along, we then get into our pump formula. So there's 3 ingredients here that are going to assist with muscle pumps. The first of the 3 is Citrulline Malate in a 2:1 ratio. This is, of course, is citrulline bonded to malic acid in that 2:1 ratio, 2,500 milligrams in total. Citrulline is a precursor to arginine. Arginine is a precursor to nitric oxide. So you're going to have a boost in nitric oxide levels, which is going to improve blood flow, increase nutrient delivery and oxygen delivery to working muscle, improve muscle pumps and vascularity. The one issue that we do have with this Finaflex Stimul8 is the clinical dose. The most efficacious dose of citrulline malate in the 2:1 ratio is 6,000 milligrams plus. We're only dealing with 2,500 milligrams, so it's less than half effective dose. It is quite underdosed. But you do have citrulline malate in conjunction with 2 other pump ingredients. The next one is nitrosogene inositol arginine silicate in the patented registered form of nitrosogene. This is arginine in an inositol and potassium silicate base. And what that does is it increases the solubility of arginine and makes arginine more bioavailable, because arginine in its own right, if you take free-form arginine or L-arginine, it's incredibly non-bioavailable. So your body really does not do a good job of using it. By taking arginine and using it in the form of nitrosogene, combining it with the inositol and potassium silicate, is it makes it much more bioavailable. So your body's actually able to get arginine into the bloodstream, where it's a precursor to nitric oxide. As a precursor to nitric oxide, it's going to do all the great things that you get from improving blood flow that we've already been through with citrulline malate. The cool thing with this nitrosogene is they have actually compared it to free-form arginine, the non-bioavailable free-form arginine, and found that you get 5 times the blood vessel relaxation, 2 times the vasodilation, 2 times the localized blood flow, and nitric oxide levels stay elevated for up to 14 days after dosing with nitrosogene. So it's a fantastic spin on standard L-arginine supplementation. The one issue is a clinical dose. The people that make nitrosogene say the amount of nitrosogene to use to get these fantastic effects is 1,000 milligrams. In this Finaflex Stimul8, they're dealing with 500 milligrams. So it's about half of what it needs to be to get all of those amazing effects. That being said, that of course is combined, the citrulline malate and the nitrosogene, with another nitric oxide boosting ingredient, and that is agmatine sulfate in the form of AgmaPure, the patented trademarked version of agmatine sulfate, standardized for purity. Agmatine sulfate inhibits the enzyme that breaks down nitric oxide, so in turn, once again, helps boost nitric oxide. And once again, you're going to get the benefits of improved blood flow, so nutrient delivery to working muscles, improved muscle pumps and vascularity. Clinical dose of agmatine sulfate anywhere from 750 to 1500 milligrams. We're dealing with 250 milligrams in this Finaflex Stimul8. So once again, it is underdosed. So the 3 ingredients that are in this Stimul8 that are designed to assist with nitric oxide production, the 3 of them in their own right are all underdosed, but you do have to keep in mind that you are taking them in conjunction with each other. So they're going to have cumulative effects when taken, synergistic effects when taken in conjunction with each other. Moving right along. We then move into our focus blend, which contains 2 ingredients. The first of the 2 is L-theanine in a 150 milligram dose. L-theanine is a nootropic amino acid that has the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier. When it gets into the brain, it helps transmit nerve impulses in the brain, which helps with mental focus. In particular, assists with your ability to pay attention to your gains. The other cool thing about L-theanine is it promotes relaxation without sedation and reduces the perception of stress. So really cool to see L-theanine in pre-workout. It's appearing a lot in pre-workout formulas of late. And it's good to see because it effectively takes the edge off stimulants. So when you're dealing with a pre-workout formula that contains a lot of stimulants, such as this Stimul8, as you guys are about to see, combining it with adaptogenic herbs and nootropic amino acids like L-theanine that have the ability to take the edge off those stimulants. So get rid of the kind of jitters and anxiety side effects that you can get from having too many stimulants is really good to see. It kind of levels out the feel that you get from your pre-workout. Clinical dose of L-theanine is 100 to 200 milligrams. We're dealing with this Stimul8 with a 150 milligram dose, so it's pretty much perfectly dosed. Theanine is combined with another nootropic, that is choline bitartrate. This is choline combined with tartaric acid, which helps increase the bioavailability of the choline. Choline is, of course, a nootropic that is also able to cross the blood-brain barrier, where it acts as a precursor to the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, and that acetylcholine helps with mental focus. In particular, Acetylcholine helps improve memory, which is fantastic, so you can remember all the gains that you made when you're taking the Finaflex Stimul8. The clinical dose of choline barbiturate is 250 up to 3,000 milligrams. Unfortunately, in this Stimul8, we're dealing with a 120 milligram dose, so it is significantly underdosed. However, you do have to keep in mind that it is, once again, the synergism between the L-theanine and the choline that is going to provide the mental focus that you're after in this particular pre-workout supplement. Moving right along, we then get into the stimulant blend. Starting with caffeine in a 300 milligram dose. Caffeine, of course, a central nervous system stimulant, going to enhance physical energy, reduce fatigue, boost psychological performance, and all the delicious things that caffeine does for all of us. 300 milligrams is a big dose of caffeine. It's personally my personal upper limit dose of caffeine. I don't like to go over 300 milligrams in any single dose. But it is a whopping dose of caffeine. It's towards the upper spectrum of what we like to see in terms of caffeine content for pre-workout supplements. Moving right along, we then get into green tea, which yields Camellia sinensis in a 100 milligram dose. Camellia sinensis contains compounds called epicatechins, or epicats for short. What epicats do is increase glucose uptake to muscle cells, so allow your muscles to make the most out of the carbohydrates that you're consuming before your workout. Also regulate nitric oxide levels, so relax blood vessels and assist a little bit with vasodilation. And also works as a bronchodilator. The Camellia sinensis works as a bronchodilator to decrease the resistance in the respiratory airways and increase airflow to lungs. So you're effectively turbocharging your respiratory system before you work out. And the final thing, green tea, of course, is another source of caffeine. The clinical dose, it's not even worth mentioning because this green tea has not been standardized. So we don't know what epicat content it has. We don't know what caffeine content it has. So 100 milligrams of green tea, it doesn't really tell us a whole lot. Moving right along, we then move into another stimulant, synephrine hydrochloride, aka bitter orange extract. Synephrine, of course, also has a stimulatory effect, increases heart rate, thermogenesis, increases lipolysis and metabolic rate. The efficacious dose of synephrine is 20 to 50 milligrams. In this Stimul8, we're dealing with a 30 milligram dose, so it's smack bang in the middle of that effective range, so it is very well dosed. Interestingly enough, those two ingredients, the green tea and the synephrine hydrochloride, we tend to see in fat loss supplements more than pre-workout supplements because they do both have a thermogenic effect more than anything else. So it's quite interesting to see them in this here pre-workout formula. Moving right along, we then get into Razandrich Genesis, the berry extract in a 30 milligram dose. Razandrich is an adaptogen, an adaptogenic extract, which helps reduce anxiety, reduce cortisol, increases your physical working capacity, and increases endurance. It pretty much just allows your body to deal with stress. Is the best way I can describe adaptogens. They just get your body to deal better with stress. Which is good to see it in pre-workout supplement because when you're training like a wild bull, you're putting your body under all kinds of stress. The efficacious dose of Razandrich is really unestablished. I would go so far as to say unestablished. Once again, because we don't know what this extract is standardized to, it is pretty much of null effect even if we do have an efficacious dose because we've got nothing to compare it against. Moving right along, we then get into one of my personal favorite stimulants at the moment, the theacrine, in a 30 milligram dose of the patented registered version T-crine, the best theacrine we've seen thus far. Theacrine is a central nervous system stimulant, enhances physical energy, reduces fatigue, boosts psychological performance, all the cool stuff that caffeine does. It is actually very similar to caffeine. However, it doesn't cause a crash and you don't build up a tolerance to it like you do to caffeine. Other cool things that theacrine does is it upregulates dopamine receptors to improve mood and enhance mental focus. And finally, it's got the ability to reduce inflammation caused by strenuous exercise, viewers at home. The clinical dose of theacrine, and the T-cream version, is 25 to 50 milligrams. We're dealing with a 30 milligram dose in this here Stimul8. So once again, very well dosed. Moving right along, we're almost there, viewers. We then move into hordenine hydrochloride in a 100 milligram dose. Once again, a central nervous system stimulant similar to theacrine and caffeine. It helps boost metabolic rate. Also helps reduce appetite. It's another one of those ingredients that we tend to see in fat loss supplements or thermogenic fat burners rather than pre-workout supplements. The efficacious dose is 25 to 50 milligrams of hordenine. In this stimulant, we're dealing with a whopping 100 milligram dose of hordenine. That is a big, that's a big dose of hordenine to see in a fat burner, let alone a pre-workout supplement. Moving right along, we then get into our 13th and final active ingredient, which is Citrulline extract, which is quite unique. We've never seen this used in a pre-workout before. It's a 100 milligram dose. What it is it's an extract that yields an alkaloid, called citrulline. And what citrulline is in its own right is a GABA receptor antagonist. And what that means is it blocks the action of the GABA receptor. And the GABA receptor, for viewers at home who are unaware, is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So effectively, it's a neurotransmitter that is involved with relaxation. It's why we tend to see GABA or precursors to GABA used in sleep formulas a lot, because they can allow your central nervous system to relax. So GABA in its own right is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, and what this particular alkaloid does is it blocks the action of the GABA receptor, so you don't get this inhibitory effect, which effectively makes it a central nervous system stimulant in its own right. In terms of the efficacious dose of this alkaloid or this extract, pretty much unestablished once again. There's been some studies done on it, but they haven't really established what is a clinical or efficacious dose. We do know there is a 100 milligram dose in this Stimul8, but without knowing really what's effective, that also is of null effect. Got yourself your artificial flavors, sweeteners, no artificial colors. And that's what's in it. There's a lot in it. 13 active ingredients. And we just went balls deep in each and every one of them. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So pretty much, we're dealing with a couple of different effects that these ingredients in here are trying to elicit. The first is endurance, and that's just beta-alanine. Then you've got your 3 ingredients that are supposed to work synergistically to promote vasodilation, nutrient delivery, and muscle pumps. Then you've got 2 ingredients that are designed to help with mental focus and really with the psychological aspect. And then you've got a shitload of stimulants, hence why it's called Stimul8. In fact, there may actually be, how many stimulants are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there was 7. So they probably should have called it Stimul7, but that's a topic for a different day. Topic of discussion for a different day. But 7 different stimulant-based ingredients, and funnily enough, 3 stimulant-based ingredients that tend to be found more in fat burners than in pre-workouts because of their thermogenic effect. But that's effectively what it looks like on paper. Most of what's in there, from what we know, is quite well dosed. There are a few things that are underdosed, but you do have to keep in mind that they work synergistically, these ingredients, with each other. So sometimes it's not just a matter of hitting efficacious doses for every single ingredient you want to put in a pre-workout. Sometimes it's like, well, I want these three ingredients to work synergistically together, and by dosing them all efficaciously or all clinically, that's not going to give me my desired effect. On paper, it is missing a couple of things that we do like to see, generally speaking, in a pre-workout formula. The first thing is something for muscle power. So there's no creatine in here, there's no ATP, there's nothing in there to really assist with muscle power, with helping you lift heavier in the gym. The second thing that it's missing is something for muscle volume. So there's no trimethylglycine, there's no glycerol, there's no Hydromax, there's nothing in there that's gonna hyperhydrate muscle cells and help with muscle volume. Those are pretty much the only two things that it's missing. But I mean, 13 ingredients, it is an incredibly comprehensive pre-workout formula on paper. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in 5 flavors, viewers at home. Comes in apple, comes in watermelon, comes in cherry lime, comes in tropical, comes in punch. 5 flavors. My personal tub that I have at the moment is actually a watermelon tub. I've tried 3 of the flavors. I've tried watermelon, I've tried apple, and I've tried tropical. If I had to rank those 3, I'd probably go tropical, then I'd go watermelon, then I'd go apple. I haven't tried the cherry limeade, and I haven't tried the punch just yet. Infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down. Got my personal tub here, which at the moment is the watermelon flavor. Now I will, before I even go through the taste and mixability test, I do need to point this out to you guys because this is quite important. This is something that caught me out the first time I used this Stimul8, is the scoop is actually scored. So if I can get some zoom and focus action on that scoop, get some of that. So you can see that score line at the top of the scoop. That's your fill line. That's where you want to fill it to. It's actually, if you go a level scoop, like right up to the top of the scoop, like that, that's probably a heap scoop, like that, you're gonna overdose with the Stimul8. That's actually about 13 grams. You're looking for 10.3 grams. So you want to go just to that score line, which is actually quite a significant amount below the top of the scoop. So that's pretty much where the score line is. That's going to get you your 10.3 grams. So make sure you don't go above that score line, hit that score line spot on, and that's going to give you your 10.3 grams. All right, double wall glass. Gonna take myself a 10.3 gram scoop of this Finaflex Stimul8, throw this bitch in this bitch, and let it rain, let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist. Let me show you guys how this Stimul8 mixes. I'm gonna refresh my memory on how this Stimul8 tastes, man. That's enough. We can get down with that. So as you guys can see, pretty well mixed. There's no floaters. There are some sinkers that will make their way towards the bottom, but let them settle. A few more flicks of the wrist. And your Finaflex Stimul8 is a pretty damn well mixed. So I would go so far as to say blendable is not required for this here Finaflex Stimul8. Let me refresh my memory on how this watermelon tastes, man. Here's the thing with companies who choose to use one of my personal favorite stimulants at the moment, the Theacrine in their formulas. Theacrine, as I have mentioned in the past, has the ability to single-handedly destroy the best flavoring system on the planet by itself. And no exception here with the Finaflex Stimul8. The flavors are very good. They are very good, and you can tell straight away if you took Theacrine out of this formula, they would be spectacular. But you do have that bitter, earthy Theacrine aftertaste that comes through on each and every flavor that you try. The initial taste, really, really good. And then you get that bitter, earthy, it's very typically Theacrine aftertaste that comes through. That being said, I mean, they're still very pleasant flavors to drink. As I mentioned, of the flavors, I've tried tropical #1, watermelon #2, apple #3, cherry limeade, I haven't had the opportunity to try, and punch, I haven't had the opportunity to try, but that's just my personal take, my personal opinion on it. In terms of the effects, because that's what you're taking this shit for, man. That is what you are taking this Stimul8 for. And let me tell you guys about my personal experience with this here Finaflex Stimul8. As the name suggests, this is a very, very, very strong stimulant-based pre-workout formula. This is a not here to spiders pre-workout formula. We've been through the ingredients. You guys know that you're taking 300 mg of caffeine, combining it with 6 other stimulants. So the strength of the stimulant effect in this pre-workout is standalone. It is really next level. It is a very, very strong stimulant-based pre-workout. The first thing you're gonna notice the first time you use this product is it hits you very hard. It hits you probably harder than any other pre-workout that I've tried before. And it's the combination of those stimulants coming on very quickly in combination with the 3 thermogenic ingredients that actually heat you up and actually make you feel hot, in combination with the full clinical dose of beta-alanine, which gives you the tingles. I mean, 10 to 15 minutes after you take your first serve of this Finaflex Stimul8, you need to do some shit. Like you need to go lift some weights or go for, you're gonna wanna do, you're not gonna wanna sit there and do sweet you're gonna wanna do some shit. So it comes on very, very hard. In terms of the actual effects that you're gonna experience, apart from the overwhelming stimulatory effect, the muscular endurance is very, very good. 3.2 grams of beta-alanine will of course do that to you. You could train for a long period of time and get more reps, more sets. It's just the muscular endurance effect is very pronounced. The energy, the stimulant effect comes on very fast, lasts very long, and surprisingly is actually quite a clean stimulatory effect. It's not the kind of stimulatory effect, I'll be honest with you guys, first time I took it and I got that rush after 15 minutes, I was like, this is not good, because usually in the past where I've experienced a pre-workout that comes on that hard, it's usually followed by a very significant crash, which is horrible. I have not experienced that on Stimul8 thus far, and I've used this pre-workout, man, almost 10 times I would say, and I've never experienced personally a significant post-workout crash. So the energy is long lasting, it's very clean energy, and it just helps you power through your workouts from a stimulatory effect very well. In terms of the mental focus side of things, it's good, it's not great, it's not tunnel vision focus that you're going to experience, but it is definitely a heightened level of alertness, a heightened level of concentration in your workout that you do experience. The thermogenic effect, as I have mentioned, is pronounced. You do experience it right at the start as soon as it comes on. It's not the sort of thermogenic effect that makes you, sweat buckets, but it is definitely pronounced, and you can definitely feel your body temperature heating up. In terms of the things that aren't so good, the effects that aren't so good with this Finaflex Stimul8, the first thing is the muscle pumps. The muscle pumps really, even though you've got the 3 ingredients, all of them are underdosed. I just think that they've kind of missed the mark when it comes to muscle pump, when it comes to vasodilation. I mean, the pumps are good. They're definitely something you can feel, but it's nothing exceptional. And because of that, I really think that if muscle pumps and vasodilation is something that's important to you, you are really gonna wanna stack it with a non-stimulant, definitely a non-stimulant pump inducer, a non-stimulant nitric oxide booster, and stack those 2 products together. The good thing about there not being too much agmatine in there, there not being too much citrulline, there not being too much nitrosogene, means you can pretty much stack it with any non-stimulant pump formula and not worry about taking too much agmatine that's gonna upset your stomach, or too much citrulline that's gonna upset your stomach, or anything like that. So in terms of the stackability with nitric oxide boosting non-stimulant pre-workout formulas, it does stack very well with those types of products. The final thing that I will say in terms of the effects is, if you are quite sensitive to stimulants, in particular caffeine, but stimulants in general, there is the possibility that you will experience a post-workout crash with this formula. Me personally, as I mentioned, I haven't experienced a post-workout crash, but if you are quite sensitive to stimulants, I mean, this is a no bullshit stimulant formula, viewers at home. So if you know you're sensitive to stimulants and you want to try this pre-workout, perhaps try like half a scoop to start off with and just see how your body goes with it, because I don't want you guys going straight to a full scoop and then having the worst crash of your life. That's not what we're about. So take the dosing very seriously, because this is a very serious stimulant-based pre-workout formula, and know that if you are sensitive to stimulants, you know, it may be a little bit too strong for you. The final thing I will say is the value for money in the Australian market on this Stimulate is spectacular. You're talking 30 scoops, which is 30 full serves. This is not, you will never double scoop. Do not double scoop this pre-workout supplement. I do not want to know what will happen if you double scoop it. This is a single scoop, single serve pre-workout supplement. You're talking $69.95 in the Australian market for 30 full serves, which puts it at $2.33 per serve. That is spectacular value for money for what is a very comprehensive, very well-rounded pre-workout formula, albeit the lack of muscle pumps. But as I mentioned, you can stack it with a pump formula if you do wish. But guys, if you're in the market for a not here to fighters, very strong stimulant-based pre-workout supplement that's going to give you awesome muscular endurance, good mental focus, decent muscle pumps in its own right, and one of the best stimulant rides you've ever had from a pre-workout supplement, you have to give yourself some of this Finaflex Stimul8 a shot, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, man. Stay up to date with all the latest editions of MassiveJoes RAW review and all the other deliciousness on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this on the mobile, don't forget to turn those post notifications on. And guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW review on the all new Finaflex Stimul8 in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.